screen, and it's the most expensive iPhone yet. It's over $1,000 US, so I had to think what it's going to be like here. It's got a 12 megapixel camera, 30 minutes more battery life, which it would need. I used my phone when I went away for taking photos. I tell you what, when you use it to take photos, it does not last the day. Anyway, the big news is that their new watch, I presume it's called the iWatch, has an FDA approved EKG in it to help you diagnose heart diseases and other conditions. It's the first one that you can buy over the counter. It has electrodes on the back of it, so it also has built-in accelerator, whatever that is, and a gyroscope to determine when a fall occurs. I would have thought knowing that you were sort of horizontal on the ground would have been a good indication of when you had a fall. But anyway, if you want to know precisely what time it was when you had a fall, the iWatch is for you. It prompts actually an alert on your watch so that you can make an emergency call, which I suppose you would also do if you were lying on the ground. But anyway, if you don't make that call within a minute of this gyroscope determining that you are horizontal, it will make the emergency call for you, assuming of course that you have your iPhone handy. So there you are. I'm sure David would be interested in that one, but he can probably rely on me to tell him when he falls. Okay, well, the Pope is having a bit of strife at the moment with the all the scandals around the world with the clergy. So he's going to have a big meeting in February from bishops from all around the world to discuss the problem. I think it would be quite good if they decide to let the priests marry. But anyway, he's going to have a big meeting. In Germany at the moment, there's tremendous furor because they have got so far 3,500 children detailed that have been assaulted by the Roman Catholic priests over the last 70 years. So it's getting to be a big drama around the world, so the Pope is finally deciding he might have to do something. Moving on to Florence, and of course the hurricane, or typhoon as they're calling it in the Philippines, is actually more dramatic than Florence, but Florence is getting most of the news. It's now down to a category 2. It will hit later tonight, going into tomorrow, at 110 miles per hour winds and lots of rain. They are particularly concerned about the nuclear power plants and why they would put 6 nuclear power plants in the path of what have been a traditional cyclone arrival area for about the past 1,000 years. I don't know, but anyway, they have 6 nuclear power plants in the path of Florence, so they are concerned about that. But given that it's now only a Cat 2, I'm sure those power plants have seen worse. But anyway, that's a bit of a drama, and it's taken the pressure off other things that are going on in Washington while they talk about the response to when Florence arrives. Oh, we were talking about heart issues before. Just in case any of you out there are on a drug called Valsartan, Valsartin. It's used to treat high blood pressure and heart failure type problems. It has been recalled because it's contaminated with a chemical that causes cancer. It'd be a bit tough, wouldn't it, if you had treatment for a heart issue and then that treatment caused cancer. They have done a bit of a survey and a research, and evidently by the end of this century, cancer will be the #1 killer. Not sure if that includes people killed in wars and cyclones and mayhem like that, but anyway, that's their prediction. 1 in 5 men, 1 in 6 women will develop cancer in their lifetime. This year around the world, 10 million will die of cancer. Another one of these grandiose statistics from God knows where. 18 million new cases of cancer. Of course, we're all growing older and cancer risk grows as we age, so that probably is a lot of the effect of this increasing numbers. Okay, local news now. If you want a sailboat, there's one going very, very cheap. In fact, they would be delighted if you took it. It came ashore at Brighton Beach a couple of days ago. That's down on the east coast of New Zealand at Christchurch. There were spring tides and a fellow who was described as a bit clueless, end of quote, was sailing around New Zealand, and he was off Christchurch there when the wind dropped and he couldn't get the engine started and the tide was coming in, so the Ferro cement boat, which looks about a little 38-foot type size, is now sideways on Brighton Beach. They tried to get a digger to get it out, but the digger got stuck too, so they're now thinking of pounding it up and removing it that way. So there you are. If you want to get in and get a boat, it's there, just not quite vertical. All right, get back to our discussion on the import requirements for clean hulls. Sharon, many of you will know Sharon at Whangarei Marina. She's been doing a great job on your behalf. She was talking now to the MPI inspector up there. He's cleared in 25 boats so far lately, and the only difference is there's been no problems. He just goes on as per normal, and the only difference is that on the master's declaration you have to say what methods you've been using to clean. And of course they have the right to use cameras, but I don't think the cameras have arrived yet, so whilst they have the right, they probably won't be using that right just yet. And in addition to that, they've had quite a lot of discussion there with the people, and she reports that the requirement that stated that you had to be cleaned 30 days prior to arriving, it's now recommended action, which is very, very significant. So that's very useful. So the words now read, you are now recommended to provide proof that the hull and niche areas, keel, propeller, etc., were cleaned less than 30 days prior to arrival in New Zealand. So the quarantine officer will ask you what you've done to clean, and you can describe how you jump in the water with your mask on and a scrubbing brush or cloth or whatever it is that you use to do all of that before you go, so that you can be going quite fast towards New Zealand, which you'll need to do to maintain the speed that David will tell you you will need. All right, now let's try and find some of the boats that are coming to New Zealand. Midnight Sun, where are you? Nothing heard there. How about Raupaki? Oh, good signal again. Peter, go ahead.
Good morning. We're at 2557 south, 17518 east. So we've got a course of 190 crew, 6 decimal 5 knots. We've got 15 knots to southeast.
ETA.
Okay, and David wants the ETA. Wow! Midnight Sunday, he says.
Excellent.
Gee, wow, you get a big thumbs up from him. You must have got the whip out. 2557, 17518 east, 190 true, 6.5, 15 knots from the southeast, and 50% cloud cover. Well, sounds good. All okay, over? All right, that sounds great. All right, let's try and find Midnight Sun. Well, no sign of them. I'm wondering what they're going to be doing. And how about Lebeccio? Haven't got them either. Oh, I think, yeah, just stand by, Trevor. I think I might be able to copy them. Lebeccio, Kevin, go ahead.
Okay, I can't hear you very well. Our current location is 173 degrees 54 east. Our current continue on.
So you're continuing on, so give me course, speed, and weather.
Our speed currently is at 25 knots. with 2 degree meters, and winds around 20 to 23 coming out of the east southeast.
Okay, could you just verify the latitude? I've got 2231. Okay, got that. Thank you very much. And the course at the moment? The course over ground.
Course over ground is 201.
Okay, 201 and 22 degrees Celsius. That's not too bad. Warmer than here.
What's the
20 to 23 knots from the east southeast. So, Kevin, what is your ETA? The ETA, over.
Just working that out now. Apologies.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get an update maybe by email. So you are continuing on.
I've got an email in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, David says, how about an email in the next 10 minutes? But you'll be listening to weather. All right. Got that. Is there anybody else with a report? It sounds like a gloomy day up there in Niafu as well. Thank you, Peter and Alan on Nonstop. Anybody else? Go ahead. And I've got a text message from Alan. He's going to be leaving the Marquesas in the next day or two. So that will be interesting. Go ahead, Trevor.
Midnight Sun was trying to call you, and well, Becky, I think it might have been midnight Monday, not Sunday. I want to clarify that one.
Yeah, I wondered about that, midnight Monday, because that would make more sense based on where he is. All right.
It's important to know that.
It's important to know. So we'll check with Rapaki in a minute. Could you try and pick up Midnight Sun? Then Midnight Sun, John, go ahead, please. Over. He must be under 30.
He's got a good copy of the relay for you.
Alan on Quintess is leaving the Marquesas the next day or two and hopes to have radio contact with you on my way to Northern Cooks to pick up the boss. How does Denise follow me on yet, as I've lost my communication system?
Yes, we'll get it. We'll have to get that.
Yes.
Hey, Kai, can you just give us your longitude again, please? Yep, I've got all that. Correct me at the end if I'm wrong. We got the night on to 30 degrees, 135 east, 30 degrees, 175 south, hang on, I'm getting a little cocked up here. 30 degrees south, 175 east is what he's given us. He's got a 10 on easterly going northeasterly. Calm seas, 100% cloud cover, and his ETA is midnight.
Okay, I'm going to need that position again. It doesn't make much sense. Could you clarify the position, over?
30 south, 175 east, is that about midnight time?
30, yeah. So I've lost the 30.
Yep, 30 south, 175 east.
Okay, got that. That's why we can't pick them up. The magical 30 south line, we tend to lose people. And so he's talking about, did you say Wednesday? Because that's pretty slow. I might have got that wrong, over.
No, arrival ETA is Sunday night.
Oh, perfect. Okay, Sunday night. Boy, he's had the pedal to the metal, hasn't he? All right, well done, you guys. Okay, we'll just check with Rapaki. Is it midnight Monday? Monday, please, Peter, over.
Roger that, Monday, that would be at the very earliest.
Okay, got it, thank you. And so I'm passing the microphone to David.
Peter, that's great.
Yeah.
You've got to beat your record of getting in. We always enjoy talking with you, Peter, because, well, anyway, I'm not going to tell everybody what usually happens to you on passages, but not this time. Very good job. All right, good morning, everybody. We've got a bit to cover since the weekend's coming up, and I promised winds for the islands through that point. So Not too much change in the upper levels, except that our jet stream has done a split for us over Central Oz, or Australia for you new folks. As is typical when this happens, a split helps produce, a rather slow-moving surface high. This is very typical. That happens on the one hand, and on the other, the northern jet. So when it makes it split, we have the jet goes north and another jet goes south. The northern jet helps along upflow. So in other words, there's a tendency to have the surface air rise when this happens, and that supports surface troughs. So what we see now on the surface at this point is a 1030 high nearly over the North Island of New Zealand, and convective activity along about 20 south. Now by Saturday, Vanuatu, Fiji, Tonga are going to be affected with troughing conditions if you not already are. Some of you already are. This is just going to continue. Now the high at that point is going to shift east, pretty much east of central New Zealand. Still pretty strong at a 1028, maybe a 1030 millibar anticyclone. Now the western side of the high is going to provide northeast winds from 25 south all the way down to New Zealand. So that's very, very good news, that part of it. Now, by Sunday, a shortwave trough is going to slide over the Tasman Sea, and it's going to produce a depression, probably about a 985, and it's going to send north a cold front, roughly along 160 east. So that little cold front is going to stick up there like a rabbit ear, and that'll be about 160 east. Now, this frontal band looks to roll over New Zealand very late on Monday into Tuesday. Now, the winds approaching New Zealand are going to be northeast to north-northwest, just to the east of the front's axis. Now, we talked yesterday, we talked a couple of times about depressions that are forming on troughs or on frontal bands, and the current model runs are definitely confirming this. All of the models, I'm looking at about 5 of them, and they're all indicating that we are going to get some action on this. Now, by Tuesday morning, or sometime on Tuesday, the low looks to form due north of New Zealand, along, I'd say, 172 east, right about that longitude point. Now, the disagreement is exactly where it forms in terms of latitude. Now, by a little bit later on Tuesday, by maybe lunchtime, we should be seeing possibly southwest winds for the North Island, extending up to about 25 south. Now, it could be a little bit later on Tuesday. It's really hard to tell at this point. Now, on Wednesday, we're going to see southerly winds, not too strong, but southerlies. So if you are late getting in, then it's going to be a tacking exercise based on these southerly winds. Now, by Thursday, you could expect east to southeast winds from 20 to 30 south, and northwest winds from 30 south all the way into New Zealand. Now, we did talk earlier about this intra-anticyclonic trough. That's the trough that forms between two highs. Well, this is still in play. We originally thought everything was going to develop on the late Tuesday time frame, which is the 18th, but it looks like it's happening just about a day sooner than what was anticipated. So those of you that are on passage at the moment, now the boats that we've talked to, all but one are in very good shape. Getting in on Sunday and Monday is just squeaking in. The Vecchio I'm a little bit concerned about. You're a little too far north. And this is for everyone. When you are making this passage and you know that there is the possibility of something developing, you really have to attain your ETA speed. You've got to keep it up. That involves the motor. It involves the motor. Bumpy conditions don't apply. You've just got to put up with it and just flood through to get there. Now, if you're late, you've got a number of options. One, depending upon where you are, is to get over to Minerva Reef, but the direction of the winds at the moment, if you're coming from Vanuatu or Fiji, is not very promising. The other is to go over to Anisha and wait for the mess to go by. The other is to simply slow down or stop. Boats don't like to do this. They particularly don't like to stop. But I really don't like the looks of this low. One of the models is picking it up to develop quite nicely. And believe me, you do not want a nasty low approaching New Zealand. This is just not something that you want to look forward to or experience. Now, you could plug along just very, very slowly, wait for everything to go by, or you could stop. We know some boats that just keep on going, and that's doable. We don't give advice here on Gulf Harbor Radio, but when you have the potential for damage to the boat, you want to think twice about that strategy. But it is a strategy, and if you have a strong boat and you don't have a lot of crap on deck, it's certainly a doable thing. So that's the story there, and I think we've only got one boat that is in that situation, so you'll have to think hard as to what you do. Now, looking up at the tropics, changing the topic now to the tropics, we've got a trough that's running over Tokelau. We've got another one that's over Rotuma, goes over Wallis and Futuna. It goes on to Niue from there. The Solomons, they are experiencing their usual trough. And remember, this is the hot pool of the Southwest Pacific. Having a trough up in the Solomons is pretty much like you put on your socks before your shoes. It's pretty typical. Now, Tonga's trough is still present, and that extends to the south, southeast, and that goes to the southern Cooks, the south of the southern Cooks. Let's put it that way. Looking further at Tonga with its troughing conditions, expect the usual today, the associated cloud and the showers, and quite possibly extending into tomorrow and possibly the weekend. Now, satellite imagery shows the possibility of thunderstorms. So with these sort of things, expect wind shifts that could be up to 180 degrees, 180 degrees. In other words, flip your head around. So don't be too close to your favorite reef if thunderstorms are about. The gusts that become part of the downflow winds could be up to 35 and 40 knots. Not very long, but enough to, like I say, flip you around and put you on the reef if you're too close. So watch the weather carefully and don't be in too close. That's our idea of being safe. And reports this morning from Tonga, the Hapais, start with Vavau. Vavau reported southeast 5 to 10 knots, showers. Let's see what else. Yeah, some of the showers were quite heavy there, according to this airport report. Sky broken to overcast, a barometer 1015. If you're checking your barometer. The Hapais reported southeast 10, scattered to broken, and the barometer there 1017. Tonga Tapu, southeast 10, scattered, barometer 1019. And note the 4 millibar pressure differential. This is going to bring pretty fresh southeast winds, 15 to 20, and higher gusts. Now, Saturday I see a shift to easterlies, and they'll be in the 20-knot range, so the wind is still continuing to be fresh. On Sunday, east to east-southeast for Vavau, 15 to 20, maybe a little bit higher. The Hapais, east to east-southeast, up to 25 knots, maybe even higher than that. Monday, we'll see a shift to east-northeast for most of Tonga, and that'll be 15 to 20 knots. So we'll see if that's correct or not. Over to Fiji now. On imagery, we could see the trough. It's somewhat weak. I'd mostly say that it's in central central and eastern areas at the moment. Not too bad on the western side. So those of you that are in Muscat and the Osawas, not too bad at the moment. So anyhow, expect cloudy areas with scattered showers here and there, otherwise pretty fair conditions. Tomorrow about the same. Now Fiji Met still has a strong wind warning in force for all waters. Southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, and the same thing tomorrow. Now, we talked about troughing conditions over the weekend, and that still is going to be a possibility, maybe probability, so be prepared for that. Now on Sunday, the northern Lao will be looking at probably northeast winds about 15, but easterlies for pretty much the rest of the group. Monday, a shift to northeasterlies again, virtually everywhere, about 15 knots or so. And we'll give you a barometer check for a few areas this morning. This is about 6 a.m. Nandi 1014, Savu Savu 1014 as well. They had east-southeast at 12, by the way. Suva 1016, they had southeast at 10. And Taveuni 1014, and they had southeast 10 with rain. So anyway, expect your weather for the weekend on Fiji to be not the greatest in the world. So hopefully you've got some books to read or whatever. Vanuatu doesn't look too bad on imagery. The leftover trough over the northern areas is evident. Otherwise, scattered cloud with quite a few sunny periods. Expect light showers in the north. The wind southeast getting up to 25 knots. And the seas 2.5 meters out in the open water. The central area, much the same. And to the south, also southeast about 25 knots, off and on cloudiness, and the seas also 2.5 meters. And on Saturday, I see easterly winds, a little bit of a shift. So the winds also will be a little bit lighter in the 15 knot range. And Sunday looks like return of the trough with northeast winds flashing with southeast winds. So where you are depends on which of those winds that you get, but we will have a trough, it looks like. Fairly light, but still there. Mostly easterlies, continuing to clash with southeasterlies probably on Monday. So the convergence continues for Vanuatu. Now that could change, but that's what it looks like right now. New Caledonia now, they were cloudy in the earlier loop, but wasn't a whole lot of cloud. But then all of a sudden a wet band started to approach from the west on imagery. And what it's done at the moment, I'm not sure. I have to update the loop to see what it is. Maybe we can get a report from New Cal. Saturday, tomorrow, we're looking at east to east-northeast winds around 10 knots, partly cloudy. Sunday, northeast 10 to 15. And on Monday, a complete switch. It looks like south-southwest in the 15 knot range. Partly cloudy and a chance of showers for New Cal. So that's pretty much your weekend. Not such fabulous weather. So enjoy what you can. And if you have any questions or comments, come now. And while we're not on the radio over the weekend, we'll still take emails if you have any pertinent questions. So if you have any now, now's your chance. And here's the chief.
They don't need books in Fiji. They just head off to those wondrously cheap and interesting restaurants all around the place. Okay, and just on the subject of passages, we have a growing list of folk that are looking for the next window. So let us know if you are in anywhere other than Fiji or Tonga, because we'll certainly be handling Fiji and Tonga. Any questions from anyone? And people, don't worry about asking silly questions. Actually, last year we actually had a silly question opportunity. You could write in and anonymously we would give the question. and respond, because usually if somebody thinks something is not very clear, then there'll be a lot of other people who don't think it's clear either. And it could be something simple like, what is a CB? Because some of the terminology that David uses is pertinent to either North America or down under here, so it might not be commonly used in, say, Europe. So by all means ask for clarification, because there'll be a lot of other people out there wanting the same clarification. All right, any questions or comments, please come now, because we are not on radio tomorrow or the next day. Come now. Ooh, any relays from anybody? Very quiet. I thought I heard a microphone click, but be brave. It's easy to use the microphone. Nothing heard. All right, folks, enjoy your windy, possibly wet weekend. What is our weekend going to be like? Anything decent?
Haven't looked.
Haven't looked. Oh, geez. All right, well, enjoy your weekend, whatever you're going to be doing. We will be back again Monday, and we will talk to you then. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, Patricia and David. The frequency is now all yours. And the streaming is going to be off. I better just check first to see. There's somebody there. There's a very light somebody there. I'm not going to be able to pick you up, I don't think. I'll just raise the volume again. Try again. No.